This is 5 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Winter weather returned to the area overnight with snowfall and slick roads, forcing some Northwest Arkansas schools to close this morning. Some of those schools closed include Academy of Excellence in Eureka Springs Public Schools, Berryville Schools, Decatur, Gentry, Gravette, and Pea Ridge all closed today. For schools that didn't close, those snow slick roads caused problems with some school buses as they ran their routes this morning. Allison Woods begins our team coverage of the latest round of winter weather in Bentonville. It looks like we're having a little trouble pulling her up. We'll try to get to that in just a moment. But what we can tell you is the Bentonville school officials say 6 buses slid on the roads this morning and 1 bus was rear-ended by a car. But thankfully, there were no injuries. Spokeswoman Mary Late says the bus that was rear-ended on Highway 102 in Centerton had 18 students on board, but all were okay. Another bus came and picked up those kids and took them on to school. The other 6 buses had no kids because they had actually already dropped the students off at school and were on their way back to the bus barn. Schools in the district are open. Lay says a decision to cancel school has to be made no later than 5:45 in the morning. She says it wasn't until later in the morning when heavier snow started coming down.
The bus director makes a decision from his own people, specific drivers that have been designated to check specific areas that are problematic. And then he goes and calls his supervisor and reports what his findings are, and the supervisor of the bus director and the director himself make that decision, and they call me.
Lay says most of the problem areas were in Bella Vista, which has steep hills and areas that just got a lot of wind today. And no one was hurt in the accidents this morning. Also, no one was inside the car that actually slid into the bus. They weren't hurt either. School bus drivers weren't the only ones having trouble, though, with the slick roads this morning. Check this out. Tawny Mulliken sent in this iPic from Bella Vista where at least 5 cars hit the ditch on Wellington Road. Mulliken tells 5 News a Jeep hit a tree. Some of the cars do have damage. Neighbors helped stranded drivers. She also reports fire trucks and ambulances had a hard time driving up the hills this morning. In addition to Bentonville, Rogers and Bella Vista also saw quite a bit of snow. 5 News reporter Christine Witten spent the morning out in Benton County checking out road conditions there, and that's where we continue our team coverage with this winter weather.
Light, steady snow fell throughout Benton County early this morning, but around 7, that all changed when it started coming down much harder, blanketing the ground, creating a slushy mess on the roads, even creating slick spots.
We're pretty busy. We got 2 trucks up here running right now, and yeah, they're pretty much sliding off everywhere.
Thick snow made visibility low as drivers headed into work and school. Tow truck companies were busy pulling stranded cars from ditches along county and city roads.
Just a mixture of everything. The road conditions and the way people drive.
Traffic stood still on one Bella Vista road as crews worked to pull this truck from a ditch.
The road conditions are pretty bad for here. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. This is kids' play. Problem is, so many of our drivers here don't know how to drive in this stuff. This fella up here, if he'd have been cautious and careful, he wouldn't have went in the ditch.
And while snow was in the forecast, it still caught some drivers off guard.
You just have to be cautious and drive slow. This is what you do when weather's like this. Go up north, you don't see people racing around like they're crazy in this kind of weather. They drive slow and cautious. That's all you need to do.
In Benton County, Christine Witten, 5 News.
A towing company we spoke with says they are working to take care of the stranded drivers and get them pulled out as fast as possible. The Benton County Emergency Services Department says they had just a handful of accidents reported this morning, but even more reports of cars sliding off of the road. Things stayed pretty quiet in the River Valley this morning, but let's go ahead and check in with Joe to see if anything else is heading our way.
Well, here's what's going on. We had the snow move through this morning. It's moving out of the area for the most part right now. Really a lack of snow across the River Valley. Didn't see a whole lot. Saw a little bit of snow in northern Franklin County. But look at this. We have a little bit of light snow continuing across southwest Missouri right now, taking it over to Max 5 Doppler. That snow continues around the Garfield area. Extreme northeast Benton County right now. No snow in the Bella Vista or Bentonville area. Let's go ahead and take a look outside from our Beaver Lake iCam. A little bit of snow passing by the area earlier. For the most part, we're done with accumulating snow. We'll see a few very light snow showers here and there throughout the remainder of the afternoon, maybe a few flurries as well. From Rogers, Snow moved in this morning, dropped about an inch of snow on the ground. I-540 looking to be in good shape. Across Van Buren, we're all okay right now. No snow. Very little rain, in fact, in the River Valley. How about a little bit earlier on this morning? We did have some snow in the Van Buren area and, Fayetteville area. And again, this is what it looked like a little bit earlier on this morning. You see snow accumulating on the ground in Fayetteville. We had about a ½ inch to an inch across most of northwest Arkansas. Some of us saw a little bit more, especially up near Bella Vista, where we saw about 2 to 3 inches of snow. Temperatures right now still fairly chilly, just above freezing in Fayetteville and Bentonville at 33 degrees, 39 in Fort Smith, 37 degrees in Poto, and 37 in Sallisaw. Coming up, we'll take a look at not only your eye pics, but your eye videos and talk about the forecast for the rest of the week. Looks pretty chilly.
People sent in a lot of great pictures too. Across the nation, that same big weather system that moved through here is now moving east, slamming the nation's midsection with snow. The blizzards left tens of thousands without power and is blamed for several deaths. Randall Pinkston has the latest.
This was the morning commute in Overland Park, Kansas. More than ½ a foot of snow fell throughout Missouri and Kansas overnight, the second storm in a week. Forecasters say this snow is the dense kind, so heavy and dangerous it reportedly sent at least 8 snowplows in Missouri into highway ditches. This dash cam in Kansas City caught thunder and lightning and sustained wind gusts of 30 miles per hour or higher. Officials blamed the storm for 3 deaths. 80,000 homes are without electricity. Few flights are getting out of airports in the region. Chicago's O'Hare has canceled more than 150 flights ahead of the storm. It's expected to dump up to 6 inches there. Many passengers in Dallas were stranded overnight. More than a foot of snow fell in parts of Oklahoma after the storm trounced the Texas Panhandle, stranding more than 100 travelers between Amarillo and Lubbock. But there is a bright side. Every 12 inches of snow equals 1 inch of rain, and this drought-stricken region desperately needs water. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, New York.
The storm is also pushing warm weather to the southern states that could spawn tornadoes. Closer to home, Sebastian County deputies and state police are searching for a home invasion suspect at this noon hour. A man called the sheriff's office around 8:45 this morning, reporting his wife had called saying a man was trying to break into her home, and then the call dropped. When deputies arrived, they found the woman locked inside of a room inside her house. She told them a man broke in and tried to grab her. This all took place at her home on Highway 252 south of Hackett in southern Sebastian County. 2 canine units are assisting deputies in their search for this man in an area east of Sugarloaf Lake. The victim described the suspect as a white man with dirty brown hair. If you have any information to help find the suspect, you're asked to call the River Valley Crime Stoppers at 7-8-CRIME. Some people in Fort Smith are upset after the city decided to remove a tree along North 8th Street. Crews with the city street department say the tree's roots are causing the sidewalk to buckle. Greg Riley with the street department says they notified neighbors Friday, letting them know that the tree would have to come down.
If we're worried about our green canopy and we're worried about, conserving that, then why are we cutting down trees to save probably about a 15-foot section of sidewalk?
And the reason the sidewalk is like that is because of the tree. I mean, that's because the roots push the sidewalk up. And if we left it, built the sidewalk around it, it'll move again.
The city tells 5 News another tree along North 8th Street will also have to come down. It's all in an effort to improve the city's sidewalks. 5 News reporter Meredith Baldwin will have more on this story for you tonight at 5 and 6.
Still tracking a little bit of snow across southwest Missouri. You could see a little bit of this in Benton County. Then things clear out. Coming up, we'll take a look at your eye picture, eye video, and talk about the forecast coming up for the rest of the week.
A new study shows BPA in plastic containers may interfere with kids' central nervous system development. That and more in today's Health Watch report up next.